like arguing or something with my nigga, and I was like, I'm just gonna go to the gym and get fine as fuck on him and shit on him. Let's be clear, I've always had a donk on me. We're gonna talk about gym splits and which would be best for you. Babes, personally, I'm not a fan of that, and I'm not telling you to do it. Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Gabriella Shantae, and you obviously clicked on this video because you either see my thumbnail or you were just interested and you looked it up. But I'm probably about to be your favorite new fitness influencer, content creator, whatever you want to call it after this video, because I'm going to teach you how you can start your own fitness journey and get your own results without having to do everything I exactly do. But I do have tips. I've broken this video up into 6 key talking points that are going to be crucial when you're on your fitness journey. And you know, like, comment, and subscribe. I'm not going to waste any more time. Let's get into it. I started my fitness journey almost a year ago now. I'm probably about 9 months in, I would say. I think I started it about October-ish. I want to say October, November-ish, if I can recall correctly. I was going through a really rough time, and I was like arguing or something with my nigga, and I was like, I'm just gonna go to the gym and get fine as fuck on him and shit on him and blah blah blah. So I started going to the gym. Your motivation may be something different, but for me, that's what sent a bitch to the gym. So I started going to the gym, and at first it was a great stress relief. Like, I was doing full body like almost every day. Like, I was going to the gym like every day, doing full body, and then I started to see people around me, and I was like, oh my gosh, they got muscles, they look good. I realized that every time I got on TikTok, I was looking up how you do this exercise, or I'm looking at other people's gym splits. Like, and then I realized I really fell in love with doing this shit. Like, I really like to work out. My coworker's brother is like this massive bodybuilder, and he I won't say he's a bodybuilder, but he's like really muscular. I don't have any pictures of him, but he's like huge. And they worked out together, and I started to ask my he wasn't my coworker, he was my assistant manager. I started to ask him different things about form, technique, because they went to the gym. And you know, that's when I got introduced to like protein powders and creatine, and getting introduced into pre-workout, all those other things. But I'm gonna take it all the way back to things I wish I would have known before I just took a deep dive into doing my exercises. So let's take it on back. So step 1 is you're going to have to understand your body. And what I mean by your body is you need to understand what type of illnesses you may have. You need to understand your genetics. You need to understand any type of health issue. You need to know your body type. I'll put a list of body types up here. I think I am an endomorph. If I'm not sure, I'll correct myself. But you need to understand your body types, and you need to understand your goals. Where are you trying to go with doing this? How do you see yourself? What you trying to do? So personally, for me, my weight has fluctuated my entire life. Like, when puberty hit for me, I got really chunky, and then I slimmed down like completely. I was really skinny, like tiny. And then my weight kind of picked back up to where it is. I was about 160 when I was skinny, because I am about 5'8", you guys. I'm like 5'8", so I'm not small. I was about 160. Then I switched over to where I was like 183 pounds. And that was like me when I started my fitness journey. Right now, I'm about 170 pounds. I think I'm only 10 pounds down, but I have gained muscle weight. Doing that, it was super challenging, because I also noticed that I mildly struggle with like PCOS, which can affect my weight loss. My mother also struggles with it as well. My hormones just refuse to be balanced. I ended up going to the doctor, gynecologist, all that other stuff, and basically they were like, oh, it looks fine, you have this one small cyst, and you know, that's completely normal, but I think that one small cyst is what's fucking me up. Speaking of genetics, me, from my mom's side and my dad's side, they're both curvaceous women on my mom's side and my dad's side, because my mom is tall, and the tall gene really comes from her side, which is where I get my height from. The way my weight sticks, I think it's a balance of the PCOS and my father's side. So my body kind of is like, I gained most of my weight kind of in my lower abdomen area, my hips. Like I've always, let's be clear, I've always had a dunk on me. Even when I got a little skinny, I had a little chunk in the trunk. I've always been the type to have some ass. Like if I gain weight, it's gonna go in my ass. I'm gonna have some ass. So that's just that. Your discipline, I'm pretty sure anybody can get up and go to the gym. Anybody can work out every day. I go and work out every day. But the discipline I have in the gym is still not where I want it to be outside of the gym. How are you eating? What are you eating? What is your calorie intake every day? What are you eating that you know you shouldn't be eating? Like that's really going to affect your gains when you are exercising and working out. You need to be tracking that. There are protein calculators, calorie calculators online. Personally, if you guys are anywhere close to like a 5-star nutrition or anything, you can go in there and use their body scale and get weighed. And all of this is free, mind you. Everything I'm telling you, all of this is free. You can go in there and get a free body scan and get you a workout plan and a nutrition plan, and you can go back every 2 weeks and get tracked. And they're going to be making sure that you're doing that. Personally, I haven't done it. I had a friend who got one of their nutrition plans, but she said she didn't like the food that's on there. But that's what I'm saying. You got to be disciplined outside of the gym. Another thing that's going to help you be disciplined when you're doing your food and your food portions, to which we're going to talk about food. But you need to invest in a food scale. And you need to understand serving sizes. If they're telling you a serving size of tater tots is about 10 tater tots equivalent to 80 grams, and that's going to give you 160 calories, you can't fix 20 tater tots and be like, I served myself tater tots and that was 160 calories. No, babes, it's going to be more than 160 calories. So that's why you need a food scale. Personally, I use my food scale. I hate doing math from my head now that I'm out of school. Even though I'm about to go back to school, I hate just doing like math out of my head. So what I do is I use ChatGPT. I go on there and I say, hey, a serving of chicken is, I always just cook, like anytime me I cook, I mainly just cook like chicken tenders. I shred up chicken tenders. I just do stuff like that. So I go on there and I'm like, a serving of chicken tenders is 120 calories and 112 grams. I weigh out 150 grams. It has 28 grams of protein in this serving. Like, I put all the information that ChatGPT needs in there, and I tell them I measured out ABC. How many calories is that? How much protein is in that? That's how you're gonna want to use your food scale. I'll insert a clip to show you guys how you want to use your food scale. Can I stress this enough? You guys are gonna have to start drinking water. Water is gonna have to be the main thing you are drinking a day. This is the ASMR for y'all. This is my handy dandy water bottle. It was like 20 bucks from Walmart. My boyfriend brought it for me because any other water bottle that he's got for me, I've just broken it. I'm not that good with them. I'm not saying cut down all your juice. I'm not saying don't drink juice, don't have a little margarita or anything here, but all of those other drinks are just a bunch of empty calories that you're just putting into your body. But if you're gonna want to invest in juices, I'm gonna be real, you're gonna have to do like diet juices. I had some diet cranberry juice, which is only 5 calories a serving, and I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't that bad. I fixed like 2 cups of it because I'm like, shit, what's 10 calories gonna do to me? Some people like purified water. Personally, I've talked to a guy that tests water for a living, and he said the best water to drink is either spring water or alkaline, but take your pick. Me personally, I like spring water. Next thing we're going to talk about are the best foods to invest in, because like I said, exercising is easy. It's what you're doing outside the gym that's really going to, you know what I'm saying? My favorite, my highlight, the love of my life right now has been low-fat Greek yogurt. The protein is so high to be super low in calories. Personally, I like to have at least 8 to 10 grams of protein per 100 calories. I'm just gonna go down the list and just ding them off on the screen for you guys. So besides low-fat Greek yogurt, there's gonna be eggs, avocados, turkey products, which could be turkey, bacon, sausage, or beef, salmon, chicken. I love Dave's bread. You can personally, I get the bagels. I tried to get the muffins one time. I wasn't a fan, so I just stick to the bagels with Dave's bread, chia seeds, veggies, tuna, And granola. You want to invest in some protein granola. There are other foods that you guys can definitely invest in. There are also protein bars, brands, protein chips, protein powders, which we'll talk about a little bit later. And I'll give you guys my favorite brands so far and brands that I wouldn't recommend as well. Now, we're going to actually get into the active part of this. Before you go into the gym, you need to figure out what you're trying to do. Are you trying to lose fat, or are you trying to build endurance? Some people may be just trying to build their endurance. They want to be able to go for long periods of time, maybe whether it's running or strength training or whatever it may be. They want to go for long periods of times and build up their heart health and their endurance. Some people might be going for just fat loss. So if you're going for endurance, you're going to focus on doing your cardio before your workout, okay? So if you're going to do the Stairmaster, 20 minutes on the Stairmaster, you don't need to do that after. You're going to do that before, and then you're going to go to your weightlifting or your strength training or your whatever else you're doing. If you're going for fat loss, you're going to do your cardio afterwards. So usually when I finish my workouts, I either do the Stairmaster or I do an incline walk. In that way, I'm burning the fat after I've just pumped out all my weights. We're going to talk about gym splits and which would be best for you. You need to analyze, based off the current schedule that you're on, how often you can make it to the gym, because that is going to be really, really, really super important, and it's definitely going to affect your training. If you're somebody that can make it to the gym only 1 to 3 times, I'm going to recommend that you do full body either those 1 to 3 times, because if you can only go 1 time, you need to work out every single thing. If you can only go 2 times, maybe you can do a upper, lower, cardio, but I'm gonna recommend full body. If you go 3 times, I'm gonna recommend upper, lower, and then doing like an abs and cardio day. But you need to recognize how often you can go to the gym and what time you can go to the gym and what's going to be best for you. Because at these commercial gyms, I go to a commercial gym, I go to Crunch. At these commercial gyms, they are very packed at certain times. If you're somebody that, I go to work at 7 a.m., my day typically ends around 9 p.m. You're going to want to either be going to the gym before that 7 a.m. shift, or you're going to be going to the gym after your day is ending around 9 p.m. and extending your day. It's just completely up to you. Personally, if you have to go to work at 7 a.m. and everything is ending at 9 p.m., like your day, whether you may have kids, extra work, school, other things you're just balancing out in your life are really going to affect how you go about doing things like that. I'm going to go ahead and tell you this before we actually get into exercises and how to do some shit. Babes, you cannot spot reduce fat, okay? It's fucking impossible. You can't just be like, oh, I'm just gonna do bicep curls to get rid of my fat. No, you can't spot reduce it. But what you can do is grow the muscle in that area and make yourself look a little bit more toned. Any exercise that you're going to do, you are going to start light to focus on your form. Personally, I'm not a fan of that, and I'm not telling you to do it. So when you first go to the gym, we ain't sacrificing form for weight. We're gonna avoid all injuries possible, and we're gonna start off light. Hell, sometimes when I was trying to practice on how to do my RDLs, I was doing it with a broom. A broom ain't got no weight, but I wanted to get the form right. Another thing that's gonna be really important in the gym is you're going to have to listen to your body and not your mind. Your mind will hinder your progress in the gym, I promise you. If you're listening to your mind that says, we should do 3 times 12, but your body is saying, I can do 4 times 15. Listen to your body. Like, if you're doing shoulder presses and you're like, your mind may be like, I'm gonna just do 1 more. But your body is like, I got 5 more in me. I got 5 more in me. Let's do 5. Stop when your body tells you to stop. When you're burning and it can't go up no more, that's when you should be putting down them fucking weights. Period, okay? Next thing, which is also going to help, because what I just told you right there is how to train until failure. When you're listening to your body and not your mind, you're going to always train until failure every time. A lot of people are just naturally conditioned. I'm one of those people to be negative and just say, oh no, just stop here, don't do that, because we're naturally scared of what if we cross that threshold of being something great, something better than what our mind can see us doing type thing. So when you are training, you're going to always want to go until failure, and you're also going to do progressive overloading. What I mean by that is, if you went to the gym 2 weeks in a row, say for instance you were doing your hip thrust. If you have been going to the gym 2 weeks in a row, you did your hip thrust with 25s. After that second week, you was like, okay, the 25s felt a little light. Let's try to add a 10 on there. Let's try to add another 25. Hell, let's try to add a 10 and a 5. Let's just do 15 more pounds. Let's add 2 10s. You're gonna want to add more weight, because that's not only gonna shock your muscle, it's gonna excuse me, that's not only gonna shock your muscle, it's going to make your body work harder. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna help that muscle grow, because the muscle's like, okay, I'm conditioned at 25. I'm not conditioned to do 35. I'm not conditioned to do 50. This is new. I need to grow so I can support that weight that is being placed onto the body, is kind of what I'm saying. So you're going to work on progressive overload. There are several ways you can do progressive overload. 1 is increasing your weight. 2 is training until failure. 3 is training, changing up your sets to reps. So if you do a heavier weight, typically when you do go up in weight, I always advise you're going to drop. You can keep the number of sets, but you're going to drop the number of reps. So if you were doing cable rolls on 55 pounds, and let's say for instance you were doing a 4 times 10, when you go up to 66, I'm going to recommend you do a 4 times 6 or 8. That's basically what I'm saying. So you can also progressive overload by drop setting. A drop set is basically, say for instance you were doing goblet squats, which is when you hold the weight. I'll insert a clip. Basically, when you're doing goblet squats, when you get done, you can drop that weight and go into body weight goblet squats, and then you do that until your legs tell you can't go anymore. That's another way. So drop setting is literally when you're just dropping the weight and you're going until you can't go anymore. So moving on, you guys are gonna want to stick to the same moves every week. I know it can get a little boring, a little drastic, a little you don't want to do it, but you need to motherfucking do it. You need to do it, because that is how you're gonna consistently keep training that muscle and build that muscle over time. I don't need you changing your move every week, girl. Like, I don't need you 1 minute your glute day is you doing hip thrusts, RDLs, and box step ups, and then the next week you're on to Bulgarians, and then the next week consistent moves. No matter how I switch my gym split around, I'm going to do the same moves that I love personally and that are going to work out my body. So that's where you want to stay in that mindset. Stay in that mindset. Another thing we're going to be focusing on when we exercise is going to be the concentric versus the eccentric. I kind of mentioned that in my back day video a few videos ago, but concentric is when your muscle kind of shortens. So this is when you do a bicep curl, this is the concentric. This here, the eccentric, is when you're letting it back down. My biggest tip with that is you need to know where your primary focus is going to be with any move, whether it's in the concentric or the eccentric. A lot of times it's in the eccentric. What I mean by that is, when I'm doing the lat pull, of course I got it here, or of course I got it here, but I'm going to let it, when that muscle is lengthening back up in the eccentric, I'm going to take my time. That's how you're going to create a slow and controlled movement and really work that muscle, because when you're doing bicep curls and you're taking your time folding it down, you're putting that tension, more tension in the eccentric. You're putting more tension on that weight to have an ease down instead of plopping it down. Of course, I know you can snatch it up. It's going to take weight to snatch it up. But when you're letting it slowly go down, focusing on your eccentric instead of your concentric, I promise you, the gains, the motherfucking gains. That's all I'm trying to tell you. And the last thing on exercising is focus on your personal records, focus on your PRs, because that is how you're going to know your growth in the gym. For instance, when I started off doing lat pulls, I was only doing 44 pounds. Your girl can pull 77 pounds. When I started off doing bent over rows, I started off with a 40 bar. Now I'm on an 80 bar. So I can lift 40 more pounds than I could when I first started going to the gym. So please, y'all, Focus on your PRs and keep up with the weights you are using. Last but not least, let's talk supplements. So I'm going to go ahead and say this. Supplements are something you really don't have to invest in, because either you find it in the foods you normally eat or your body just naturally produces them. But I'm going to talk about my top supplements that I like to use and why I use them, or why you should incorporate them into your fitness journey. We're going to start off, of course, with a protein powder, which is just additional protein, which aids in muscle recovery and growth. When you use a protein powder, you can incorporate protein powder in your life in so many different ways. It doesn't just have to be a protein shake with you mixing it with milk. You could do a smoothie. Or sometimes I do protein oatmeal, depending on how I feel. If you don't want to do protein oatmeal, you can do overnight oats. You can incorporate it by go ahead and tell you guys that your fitness journey is not going to be perfect. You aren't going to wake up and be this disciplined person who can wake up, go to the gym, get back to their normally scheduled program. You're going to miss some days. You're going to fall off the wagon when it comes down to eating correctly all the time. It's not going to be that. It's basically what I'm saying. You have to think of every morning that you get up and that you do it. Like, I did that shit. When I go to the gym and I have a good workout, I be like, I did that shit. I be happy for the rest of the day off a good workout. And that's another thing. Working out is going to boost your mood. You're going to be a lot happier. You're going to want to have sex with your girlfriend or boyfriend a little bit more, or your husband or your wife. You're going to be up. Like, you're definitely going to be up. Don't doubt that. If you guys have any more questions, if you guys feel like I missed something in this video, feel free to comment down below. But if you did stay and watch this and get your life and get your tea, I love you guys. And that is all.